Let's break from the NFL for a minute and talk some college basketball. I'm joined by the head basketball coach at San Diego State. He is in his 15th season there, 23rd season overall as a head coach, a two-time National Coach of the Year. San Diego State, 16-1, and they're up to number 7 in this morning's AP poll. Steve Fisher is my guest. Steve, great to have you back on the show. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Jim. Thank you for having me on, and a belated Happy New Year to you and your listeners.
You too, Steve. Thanks so much. It's always good to visit with you. You beat UNLV, Steve, Saturday night, 63-52, after they had beaten you 3 straight times. So this time it was not necessarily a pretty game offensively, but did you like what you saw from your team in terms of toughness and approach, especially defensively?
I did, Jim. Vegas came in after having had a great win at New Mexico. So a little bit like us, long, athletic. Kim Birch inside is a shot blocker extraordinaire. He blocked 10 against us last year in 2 games, and he had 4 blocks in the first 6 minutes of this game. So we knew it would be one of those games. You made reference, they've beaten us the last 3 times we've played them, and this was somewhat of a grinder-type game. We shot 34%. They shot something like 32%. Not always pretty, but our team has really done a good job of guarding, and we continue to do that. So we've made it hard for people to score on us, and sometimes it doesn't look pretty, but when you look at it as a coach, you see a lot of really good things we're doing.
Steve Fisher, my guest. It's not necessarily pretty or aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but it is effective. Steve, how do you go about this? Do you recruit for defense and toughness, or is it something that you can teach guys once they get there?
You recruit players. You recruit talented athletes who, if you do your research, most of the time you're going to know what you get. And so we hope that when we say we've got good kids who care about the team and will do what's required, that's what we're getting, and it has been that. So I think they've all, everybody wants to play. So in order to play, we demand that they guard, and not guard when they want to, but guard all the time, and they've done a really good job of that. Our veterans, again, we've got some leadership at the top, starting with Xavier Thames, that push everybody to do the right thing all the time.
It's San Diego State head basketball coach Steve Fisher joining us. You are now 16-1. You are ranked 7th nationally. Coming into this season, did you expect to be where you are right now?
Jim, I'm always half-filled glass, very positive about everything. I knew we would have a good team. We got an ace in the hole, a wild card, this summer when we landed Josh Davis, the Tulane transfer who graduated. He's a 5th-year senior. He gives us now that size, athleticism, rebounder that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So going in with all of that, I thought we would be good, but given our schedule, I didn't think that the record would be quite this good. We lost a lot of players from last year. We lost 4 starters and 5 of our top 8 players, but we had guys coming. We had guys that didn't get to play as much that I knew were good players, and they played. And they played well.
Steve Fisher, my guest. It's not the first time you've lost guys. You're heading toward a 9th straight 20-win season, despite the fact that you've had guys like Kawhi Leonard, Jamal Franklin drafted in the last 3 years. When you lose talent like that, yet you're able to keep rolling on, at that point, Steve, obviously, you're no longer a good team. You're a good program, aren't you?
You've seen a lot of us come and go, and that's what we've preached. We said that from the day we walked in the door. We want to develop a program, not somebody that, wins 20 games one year, makes the tournament, and you don't hear from them for 5 years. We've got a program. We've got a program in every sense of the word. We are sold out for the 2nd consecutive year, almost the 3rd consecutive year, preseason sellout. Our home crowd is as good as there is in the country. We went to Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas, 16,000. Then we came home, played Boise State, students not in session, and we had 12,414 in an identical atmosphere. So we're proud of where we are, and all the things that you've made reference to, I've talked about, have allowed us to become a program that basketball people know and respect.
But what strikes me, Steve, to fully appreciate the program that you have and what it's like in that building right now, you need to go back and remember what it was like when you first arrived in March of 1999. You did a lot of hustling. You did a lot of speaking to groups to generate interest in that program. What do you remember about those days, and what was it like?
We had great kids, Jim. We just weren't good enough, talent-wise. They tried. They got better. We won 5 games our first year. I think we were 5-27. Did not win a conference game, 0-14. It took us a year and a half to win a road game. We beat Loyola Marymount in December of our second year, and we celebrated like we'd won the national championship. And I had to hustle. I sold where I came from, but I said if I'm still selling the Fab Five 2 years from now, we're not doing a good enough job here. I gave away tickets. I spoke at 79 different events my first 12 months, and I said, come and take a look at it on my nickel, the first one, and I think you'll like what you see and buy your own ticket, and it's happened. And it's happened in ways that's hard to script. Our student section called the show, it just happened, and they're so good, and they create such a college environment, and it's a really, really neat place to be, and very, very appreciative that I'm here, and happy that I've been able to enjoy this wonderful experience.
Yeah, Steve, you look at this thing, and the drive, the passion, the energy it takes to be a college head coach it's amazing. I mean, it's overwhelming. How are you able to keep generating that every single day and continue to compete and thrive at the highest levels?
I'm pretty low-key. I'm not going to say flatline, but I'm not a guy that's going to do backflips when we beat Kansas and, be ready for the morgue when we lose a tough game. I'm pretty even keel. We preach that with our players, and I don't take it home with me. I've been married, same lady, Angie, since 1974. She doesn't let me get too far off center. We do not do a tremendous amount of basketball talk at home, although we do some. We've got a life, we've got a family, and I think that you have to be able to do that, and I delegate. I've learned to delegate. Brian Dutcher, the head coach in waiting, has been with me we've been together since 1988 with 1 year separation. That doesn't happen. So I got trust in our staff and give them a lot of responsibility.
Finally, then, if you were looking to snap off a backflip, it would have been January 5th because you did beat Kansas. And at that time, they had a 68-game non-conference home winning streak, and then you came out with a 4-point win. What did your team show you that night, and what did that do for this team's confidence going forward?
Well, I did contemplate doing the wheelbarrow, as they say, have one of them grab my legs and take a couple of steps with my hands, but then I thought twice about that.
Too bad, should have.
We went in there, our kids had such a resolve about them, and they went in unafraid. I think I had people tell me, be careful, because a lot of people lose the game on player introduction when they go with that rock, chalk, Jayhawk chant, and our players thought they were better. And to be honest with you, on that day we were. And we played that way from start to finish. So what it did to Jim, it gave people from the Midwest and the East on a Sunday afternoon a chance to see our team against Kansas, at Kansas, where they never lose. And anybody that watched that game would come away. They might say, well, Kansas didn't do this or didn't do that, but they would also say, San Diego State is good, and they're better than we thought they were. We're not better than I thought we could be, but we're good.
And what they are is a top 10 team right now, ranked number 7 in this morning's AP poll. San Diego State is 16-1. Steve Fisher, my guest. Steve, a very happy New Year to you. It's always good to visit with you, and I will certainly look for you come tournament time once again.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you having me on. Take care.
Always good to talk to you, Steve. Thank you.